Um, a lot of countries technically are mine, basically, I mean, it gets relative. But basically, at one point in time in my life, like I bought the whole English rail system about 1947 or so. If I didn't own it, I owned it afterwards, just in case. I was basically buying out all the people who had invented and were basically going bankrupt trying to run the trains or whatever. I was just like, all right, I got airplanes, so I'm gonna, and I was making money from airplanes anyway and other things because technically I had invented aircraft. So pretty much I was putting myself and my people out of business. Like they would have been going bankrupt keeping those trains going. So because of that, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take money from the air travel business and I'm just going to go and just put it right over there. And I basically bought out everyone pretty much, or at least, funded everything, to make my old businesses, my old people, because, those were people's lives back there, that I had basically just invented and was going to be putting out of business. Like they were going to starve, they were going to go out of business. Um, it was going to cause problems. And I didn't want to just leave them hanging, as you know. So anyway, but among other things, um, I owned what was it? Wedgwood, finer whatever, finer vases and finer dishes. I started the company, or basically had sponsored them at one point in time, and I guess in 1769 it says. I mean, for me, it was right then there. I was there, I mean, I wasn't there. I was not like I walked up to Wedgwood. I never actually stepped foot on the grounds. I was basically like, okay, this looks like a good spot for a factory. Let's go build a new factory there. I love setting up factories. Setting up a factory was like my pride and joy. It's like how I relaxed sometimes. I like to set up factories, and so and plus, well, the old way of making vases, I believe, before Wedgwood was kind of like an archaic system, and it couldn't meet demand, and my people would have been suffering. So what I did was, at least what I tried to do, was I tried to take the people from the old factories and move them all into a new modern day factory together. Basically, updating the old vase. I hope I got everyone, but basically I was trying to move everyone from the old factories and put them into the new factories. I hope I didn't leave anyone behind, but basically I was trying to move all my old factories into a brand new facility, basically, where they would make new vases, and this place was called Wedgwood, basically, and pretty much it was comprised of pretty much hopefully all my old, because I'd been making pottery for years, and I wanted to set up a new facility for making pottery, so I wanted to take all the old people that were using the older methods and move them into the newer methods. And basically, I'm pretty sure they built a town, and they called this town or this factory Wedgwood, pretty much in 1769. Um, and that was the new facility, which had all the new stuff, had all the new kilns where they could happily work and meet demand. And it was a newer facility, a newer firing method, state of the art for 1976, I guess. And that's what I was doing. Is I was taking, and then I was going to demo all the old what's called vase facilities. I had like 30 of them all in one spot, and it's like, but they were they're the old style that had been around for over 100 years. And I was thinking about it. And I was like, they're suffering down there. Let's go ahead and let's demo those, and we'll build a whole new facility, start from scratch, and call this a factory, whatever. And this place was then from that day forth called Wedgwood. And it was basically like I took all the old employees, hopefully, and put them into a brand new town with brand new factory and brand new facility, basically whole new facility, big, with all new houses. I hope. I tried to, I wanted it to be all updated and looking really nice, so the people could enjoy their work. That's one of the things I did a lot as a child. I looked at the old stuff, and I was like, well, we can probably do a little bit better here. And then basically, and for me, I thought it was a good investment because happier employees, happier me, higher demand, better everything. So for me, it seemed like a good decision. So anyway, so basically I ordered and basically said, all right, let's spend some money. I was already pretty rich at the time, and this place was then known as Wedgwood, and they made fine dishes. And basically, they were comprised of, I believe, 36 other facilities. There was all these other little facilities I had in this one place, and they used the old school bottle cap or bottle kilms or whatever. But they were, they couldn't really meet demand. They were inefficient. It was wasteful. And I thought, well, we can do better. So, whole new facility was built. And like I said, this place was called Wedgwood. And at least that was my intention at the time. And I'm not exactly sure how or what the people did, really. I mean, this is 1976. For me, I don't know. It was just like a couple years. It seemed like a couple years ago to me. But anyway, though. But then when the factory was made, because I was going to be spending all this money and because I was making this huge investment, I wanted to commemorate it. And I asked for, after a couple years, I don't know, maybe it's when the new facility was open, but basically I asked them to make this vase out of basalt, or the blackest rock they could find, which is volcanic. I wanted a volcanic rock vase. I just wanted, because porcelain is basically white and it's always white, and I was like, can you make it black, just for the fun of it? And so they got the blackest rock they could find, which is basalt, crushed it, and which is basically a volcanic rock, volcano vase, and they made this beautiful vase out of it, and they still have it. I didn't know if it could work because volcanic rock is kind of like it's very porous, so it has air pockets. So I thought it would probably be pretty hard to make. But they crushed it up, made it into a fine powder, and fired some very beautiful, very black vases. And I think it looks gorgeous, and I always thought it looked very nice, when I first saw it. So, and then I had them do it in like a Roman style and stencil on the side, and this is known as the Wedgwood vase of 1769. It says right there. I don't know what year it was at the time, and actually I'm pretty sure Wedgwood actually opened up a lot sooner, probably around 1600 or something like that. Like they were the volcanic vase was actually like midway through. They had already done quite a few things, and I was running out of things to ask for, and I was like, well, can you do this? Well, can you do that? And I was like, how about a black vase? Because porcelain, because basalt isn't really porcelain, so I thought, well, if they can do that, they can do anything. So I asked them to just mess around and try and make like a couple. And I think they only made 6 of the vases, or something like that. I wanted them to make 7, but they only made 6. I was like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. 4 is fine. But anyway, though, but they made a whole bunch of other vases though too. It's just that they didn't make them with the painted side with the Roman. I just wanted like a couple to be made in this particular style, which was a commemoration thing on the back or whatever, and some Roman stuff. I was like, I was a little vague with it. I was like, just to commemorate what they did, turning volcanic rock into a vase and all that. And I forget the process, but it's a very involved process, and it really was not easy. It took them actually like a year to actually do it. It was kind of like one of those side projects where like 4 or 5 people or like 20 people actually just thought about it. And eventually until they tried a couple of things just to mess around and try and do it. They did a lot of experiments at Wedgwood. They're very good people. It was one of my very successful projects, and I would say that modern day Corningware is actually, the stuff we use today, is basically pretty much, Wedgwood was one of those big projects where they tried everything and anything. I was like, whatever you can think of, try it. I was like, if you can make a vase out of dirt, do it. Actually, I never said that, but I should have. And they were just trying different glazes. They tried like 1,000 different combinations to get all kinds of different colors. I was like, try doing all kinds of different colors. I just gave them like a sheet of things to try, and they just they made the stuff that was sold. And then on the sideline, they had a little research project where they researched other things and tried different things. Like they had an open shop basically where people would just try new things, And I counted it as a huge success, and I really enjoyed it, and I got my black vase out of it, and amazing people. So anyway, that's the story.